Most people think Japan's genius is all about fast cars and cool robots. But the truth runs much deeper than that. This small island nation, after facing total ruin, quietly designed the way we live now. Their inventions aren't just gadgets you see. They are the invisible rules for our modern world. It's a whole new system built on an almost unbelievable level of hard work and smart ideas, reshaping everything from how you shop to how you share news online. So, how does this invisible influence actually show up? A perfect example is something you might scroll through every day: X, the app we all use to call Twitter. It turns out, people in Japan use X way more than almost anyone else on the planet. The big reason is anonymity. You don't have to use your real name, so people feel free to talk openly about their lives. But here's the crazy part. X started automatically translating Japanese posts and recommending them to English speakers. The reaction was wild. Users said it was like getting a dose of sanity and normalcy on their feed. So, a uniquely Japanese way of using an app is now subtly changing the online world for the rest of us. And that's just one small piece of a much, much bigger picture we're about to uncover. To understand where this quiet influence comes from, you have to go back to a time when Japan had almost nothing. After World War II, the country was in ruins. The generation that had to rebuild from zero faced a challenge that's hard for us to even imagine today. And their response was simple, but powerful. They worked. They worked incredibly hard. This wasn't just about putting in long hours at a factory. It was a national mindset, a shared mission to create a future from ash. People poured everything they had into their work, so much so that it eventually led to a dark side, the phenomenon of karoshi, which literally means death from overwork. It became a recognized social problem. But out of that intense dedication, something incredible happened. Japan didn't just focus on rebuilding what was lost. They focused on building things better than anyone else in the world. They poured that relentless work ethic into creating advanced technology that was made with unbelievable precision. And here was the killer move. They sold it for a cheaper price. Think about it from the perspective of a customer in the US or Europe at the time. Suddenly, you could buy a Japanese product that was higher quality than the local options, and it cost you less. It was an unbeatable combination. Word started to spread, not through massive ad campaigns, but just by people talking. Have you seen this? It just works better. And that's how Japanese goods started showing up everywhere, completely changing what people expected from technology, from cars, and from pretty much everything they bought. This wasn't an accident. It was a strategy born from necessity, one that would lay the foundation for decades of quiet, global dominance. But this incredible turnaround wasn't just about pure, brute force hard work. It was about working smarter in a way the world had never really seen before. At the heart of it all is one powerful, yet incredibly simple, idea. It's a Japanese word you may have heard before: kaizen. Literally, it just means change for the better. But in practice, it's a total game changer. The basic idea is this: instead of waiting for a genius CEO to have a revolutionary idea, you make small, constant improvements every single day at every level of the company. Think about it this way. In a typical Western factory, if something is inefficient, you wait for a manager to notice, commission a study, and then maybe roll out a big, expensive new system 6 months later. The Kaizen way is different. The person actually doing the job on the factory floor is treated like the expert. If they see a tiny way to make things better, like moving a toolbox 2 feet closer to save 3 seconds of walking, they're encouraged to make that change. Right now, it sounds almost ridiculously small, doesn't it? But that's the magic. When you have hundreds of workers all making tiny, 1% improvements every single day, it adds up. It compounds. Suddenly, you're not just getting a little better, you're becoming unstoppable. This is the exact philosophy that gave birth to the legendary Toyota production system. They became obsessed with hunting down and eliminating waste. Wasted time, wasted movement, wasted materials. Anything that didn't add value to the final car was relentlessly cut. This relentless focus on small, daily improvements is how they built cars that were not only cheaper, but famously, almost never broke down. Soon, the rest of the world couldn't ignore it anymore. Companies everywhere, from car makers to software developers, started trying to copy this Japanese secret sauce. The idea of continuous improvement wasn't just a business strategy anymore. It became the blueprint for how the modern world works. Okay, so that relentless drive for perfection completely changed how we make things. Cars, factories, entire industries, they all run on this Japanese blueprint. But what about the world that lives inside our phones? Where is that same quiet influence in the apps we scroll through every single day? Well, the answer is a little surprising, because sometimes the biggest influence isn't in how the app is designed, but in how people use it. Let's go back to X, the app we all still call Twitter. As we mentioned, people in Japan use X way more than almost anyone else. But it's why they use it that's so different. In the West, a lot of the app is dominated by news, brands, and loud political arguments. But in Japan, it's a totally different world. Most users are anonymous. They use fake names and cartoon avatars. And this lets them do something that feels almost impossible online. They talk openly about their personal lives, their hobbies, their daily frustrations, without fear of it getting back to their boss or family. For years, this entire side of the internet was basically invisible to non-Japanese speakers. But now, with automatic translation, we're all getting a peek behind the curtain. And what people are finding is, well, a nicer, calmer, and frankly, more normal internet. It's less about fighting and more about connecting. This isn't something a tech company in Silicon Valley designed. It's an example of Japanese culture quietly taking a global tool and, through millions of tiny, individual choices, making it better. They found a way to cut through the noise and waste of online arguments and create a space that actually adds value to their lives. It's a kind of digital kaizen, driven not by programmers, but by the people themselves. Japan didn't just bounce back from ruin. They designed a whole new way of living. Their drive for extreme quality and always getting better, what they call kaizen, became the hidden blueprint for how our modern world works. We saw it in factories, and even now, on platforms like X, it creates a calmer, more human way to connect online. It's this quiet genius that shapes the invisible rules of our tech-driven lives, often without us even realizing it. What we've explored here is just the tip of the iceberg. Japan's journey from total ruin to quietly designing our modern world is a story of incredible hard work and clever ideas, shaping the invisible rules we live by. It forces us to ask, what other hidden forces are at play, quietly steering our future? If you're ready to keep uncovering these deeper truths and want to understand the surprising ways our world is actually built, make sure you subscribe. Don't miss what's next.